If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Yesterday, my granddaughter was over, and she's learning how to write math sentences and write sentences. She's in kindergarten. It's really fun to see, and she read me 2 books. It's amazing what kids do in kindergarten these days. I don't remember reading books in kindergarten or writing math sentences, creating math problems. They have to create new math problems for one another every day at school, and then they share those math problems. So that was really, really fun. So our idiom, our expression today: if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I personally love this expression, this proverb, this idiom. It goes back to Bible times. It can be traced back to that, but really it popped up in the USA in the 1960s, where it became really, really popular when Leroy Eldridge Cleaver, he went by Eldridge Cleaver, was he was a writer, a political leader. He was one of the early leaders of the Black Panthers, and he is credited with saying this: hey man, if you're not part of the solution. He didn't say hey man, I just said that. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. All through my corporate career, I was born in 1960, as a matter of fact, and all through my corporate career, which was lengthy, and doing my businesses and running different businesses, I have believed this: hey, if I'm not part of solving the problem ahead of me, part of the problem that we identify, then I am part of the problem. If I'm not looking for ways to solve that or solutions to that, then I'm just contributing to that. I'm contributing my energy, my thinking, my resources to being and making the problem bigger. I don't ever want to make the problem bigger in my life or in anyone else's. I'm here to make problems go away, to solve problems. So I've loved and always embraced this particular expression. Stephen Covey wrote about it and used this in his trainings, as well as, I'm sure thousands and thousands of other leaders and people at this point. Why? Because it's founded in truth. If I'm focusing on the problem and worrying about the problem, being negative about the problem, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's why the war on anything doesn't work. How'd the war on drugs turn out? Not so well, right? How has any war that we've been involved in turned out? Except for making some people wealthy, war is a really, really bad thing. And it gets more and more and bigger and bigger. Whenever we focus on something negative, something we don't want, we get more of it. How many cancer societies or heart associations have solved cancer or heart problems? None. Because we're focusing on the problem. How many people that go on a diet actually lose weight and keep it off forever? If we're focusing on the diet, most of the time we lose the weight and gain it back, lose the weight and gain it back. Why? Because we're not focusing on our healthy ideal. We're focusing on what we want to lose or give up, which is negative, because nobody wants to lose or give up. At least I don't, and probably you don't either. So it reminds us of it. Another word for this is being counterproductive, right? We're being counterproductive if we're focusing on the thing we don't want instead of the thing we do want. So we want the solution, we don't want the problem. The law of contraposition is another way of describing this. So we want to focus on solutions. How many of us, when COVID hit last year, how many of us, and then for how long, let's be honest, we don't have to share, did we stay in the, oh my God, this is awful, this is COVID, we're trying to understand it, and focusing on the problem, focusing on what we couldn't do in our businesses anymore, instead of figuring out and switching to what can we do, what will we do, what are we gonna do to make sure that we make any changes that we need to continue to survive and make our businesses grow and thrive and prosper. Again, to me, it's just exacerbating the problem if I focus on the problem more instead of the solution. I want to clearly identify the problem, but we can usually do that in about a minute. And then after, if we need to, in order to find solutions, dig into the problem a little more to realize, oh my gosh, that's not the real problem. That's not the root cause. That's just a symptom of the problem. If you've ever taken a medication and all of a sudden, all kinds of other symptoms and side effects start popping up, and pretty soon it's hard to discern what's wrong with you and then what is just a symptom of the medication. I had that happen to me in my 20s, and it wasn't until I got off all the medications that I realized the side effects of the medications I was taking were actually more harmful and hurting me more than what was altogether wrong with me, which turned out just to be inflation and some hereditary weird stuff that I learned to manage throughout the rest of my life, because I quit focusing on the problem, what was wrong with me, and trying to identify it, and focused on, all right, this is how I feel, what am I going to do about it? Focused 100% on the everyday, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to move forward? Not just in spite of the pain, in spite of the challenges. And once I did that, my life started to work out and everything ran much more smoothly. Love to know your experience and your take with this particular expression, this proverb. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Do you believe that? Have you seen experiences or had experiences or seen examples of that in your life? If so, share it in the comments below so that we can all learn and really get this lesson honed in and make it a part of our being. All right, have an awesome day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it in your business to grow and build it and your life right now? Take care. Bye. Hey, any questions? Just say.